My brother Caleb has his birthday in a few days. Caleb is the third oldest in my family, counting half-siblings. I'm the ninth. Growing up, our tyrannical father left when we were young, and my mother could barely keep a roof over our heads. Apparently, many times before this incident, I'm about to explain, she forgot Caleb, but I don't remember any of those, and some of my other siblings deny that and have specific memories that show the opposite. When I was 15 and Caleb was 18, our house burned down, and Caleb moved in with his girlfriend, now wife. A few months later was his birthday, and my mom forgot to call him. Keep in mind he abandoned our family and didn't help her with bills from his job, as my other siblings did. My 17-year-old sister was working and gave my mom money. She was also taking care of some of my half-siblings, who aren't hers biologically, but she still calls her children, just FYI. Mom was living in her oldest child's basement while caring for 6 underage children. My sister-in-law, Teresa, has never let her forget it. I didn't know this was happening until last year, but for the past decade, Teresa has unfailingly texted my mom a few days beforehand to remind her of Caleb's birthday. Every time this brings my mom so much heartache and guilt, and brings her back to extremely traumatic and triggering times in her life. I only found out last year because she got the text when I was with her, and she started crying. Once again this year, I was with her when she got the text. She literally started sobbing and apologizing to me, asking if she was truly such a terrible mom, etc. I, of course, told her no. She was an amazing mom to me. I felt like this had gotten ridiculous. Then I got on my phone and called Teresa and told her she needed to stop doing this. Teresa got mad at me and started saying my mom was XYZ and she was trying to keep Caleb from being hurt. I asked her to explain to me one way Caleb had been hurt recently, and she kept saying some things were none of my business. There was only one example she gave of a childhood neighbor dying and my mom not telling him, which was a lie because my mom had forwarded him all the church emails. He also hadn't talked to this person in years. Well then, today I go over to Caleb's house to pick up some stuff, and he makes a big deal saying that I was mean to Teresa and that I can't come around for a while. I explained the situation and how upset Mom was, and he said it didn't matter. This hurts me because I used their house to get internet to do my college work, which will be starting soon. So now he's punishing me for Teresa's allegations about my mom. I would also point out, Teresa's never given my mom a chance to prove she remembers, so it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. Am I the idiot? Are you more upset about the birthday or losing your Wi-Fi? You are the idiot. You're 6 siblings after Caleb, so you probably have no idea what growing up was like for him. Weirdly, you think he should have been helping with bills at 18 when he was still a child. Your sister-in-law is trying to protect her husband, who experienced some neglect as a child. If your mom carries a lot of guilt about that time, she needs to address that in therapy. Thank goodness Caleb has someone that truly loves and supports him. I also find it a huge stretch to say he abandoned your family after the fire. If anything, he created more space in the basement for your mom and her 6 underage children. He might not have been able to contribute financially, and even if he was, he's not obligated to do so just because your mom had many kids to feed and take care of. I don't blame the mother for being hurt by being reminded every single year. She forgets once, when she had a ton on her plate. It happened years ago. If someone held a mistake I made years ago over my head, I'd also get upset. The mother did the best with the crappy hand she was dealt, and to be reminded, without having the chance to prove she doesn't need the reminder, is just throwing all her extra hard work back in her face. She's probably also dealing with a lot mentally. I go with everyone's the idiot here, except the mother. She went through a living nightmare, returned to provide for her children, and made a few mistakes. All parents do. I maybe get downvoted, but I think the only real idiot here is the father. Yes, the mom is wrong for causing her son to feel neglected, but it wasn't done intentionally. Because their father abandoned the family, the mom is now a single mom to a bunch of kids, some that aren't even her own. Mom now has no financial stability and has to work 2 jobs just to keep her children fed, clothed, warm, and housed. Because mom is working every free minute to provide for her children, she's unable to provide emotional support for her children. So let's blame the right person, the deadbeat dad. So my 46 male, son's 19 birthday was yesterday. A few weeks before his birthday, he and my wife, 48, also his mother, argued over something really petty, if I'm being honest. This happens a lot. She'll find the smallest things to complain to him about. But due to this argument, she refused to plan anything for his birthday, so I started to plan it. Now, before anyone thinks I went ahead and planned a massive party, by plan, I meant get him some presents, a cake, and make sure we have money for takeout that night. This is what we've done for a while, as he stopped wanting parties after 15, and even before then, his birthday parties were really just small gatherings with a handful of friends. Now I'm going to be honest here. I don't know much about my son's interests. I know what he's into, but not enough information about specifics to get him anything. But I do know the person that knows him better than anyone is his best friend, who I'll call Alice, 18 female. So I called Alice and asked her about what kind of things my son would like as a present. She was immediately able to help me. I know my son loves K-pop, but she was able to show me what albums he would like, and I ended up getting him one that was released very recently. I actually had to pre-order it after we had the phone call from his favorite group, as well as these small picture cards of his favorite member. The conversation somehow also ended up with cakes, and she was also able to help me with what kind of cake was his favorite and what things to avoid, like buttercream, as it makes him feel ill, and I got everything sorted. His birthday came and I made him and everyone breakfast before work, and when I got back, we opened presents, ordered food, and made the cake. When I say we, I mean me, my son, my daughters, and my mother-in-law, who lives with us. My wife seemed upset and didn't join us. She came down to get some food and some cake and take it to our room to eat. When I went to bed, I asked her what was up, and she said she felt like I was trying to upstage her and that our son favors me anyway, and I'm not helping. She knows that neither of us knows enough about K-pop to have gotten him stuff to do with his favorite group without help. And I told her I asked Alice for help with the gifts and the cake. She got upset again and said I was proving her point. She then just went off complaining about how she was excluded, that she didn't like the cake, and that no one had paid any attention to her and had left her out of everything. She kept interrupting me as I tried to apologize, so I just gave up and slept on the sofa. I know my wife and know she can be unreasonable at times, but I'm wondering if I am the idiot. Not the idiot. Your wife seems very insecure and also a hypocrite. She fought with your son. You made sure your son had a nice birthday, and she's feeling bad because you made sure your son had a nice birthday? Also, making the day of your son's birthday about her. Seriously? You're not the one who needs to apologize. Your wife is acting like a child, OP, and my heart breaks for son to have to deal with her. Your wife wanted to cancel any celebration of your son's birthday because they had an argument? Either it was a very, very, very big deal argument, or she's very vindictive. I do wonder what the argument was about. And in general, I'm always a bit disappointed in parents who are unhappy if something good happens to their kids. My wife's earbuds have gone missing, and she thinks her son took them. He says he didn't, and when he showed some proof, she accused him of editing it, and then ignored him when he said you can't edit what he showed her. She still hasn't found them, and thinks he still has them. So your wife is accusing your son of being a thief because she can't keep track of her own property? Then when shown proof that he's not a thief, she decides to discount that and is continuing to do so. In order to punish the crime that only she and the voices in her head believe her son committed, she decided he doesn't get to have anything for his birthday. She's now in a snit because you made his birthday special when she wanted it to be as miserable as she is. Did I miss anything? Your wife is an idiot. Yeah, what country are you in that allows you to be married to a toddler? The birthday was shockingly about your son and not about the missus. I won't admit I'm wrong and want everything to be about me. She's manipulating you into apologizing for something that doesn't warrant an apology by making you feel bad. Instead of accepting the apology, she kept trying to hammer the point home that you're wrong because if she paused in her monologue for even a second, you might realize that she's being selfish and awful. OMG, my thoughts by the end were, when's the divorce? OP's a friggin' saint for staying with his wife this long. Perhaps invite Alice for a film night or something to say thanks. She should really have been invited to the birthday thing, but a film night will do, especially if you make sure to get her favorite snacks and food. My 30 female, sister 36, is pregnant with her second child. Her first child, she didn't find out the gender until she gave birth. She and her husband did this time, but decided not to tell anyone. We've all respected that, like it's their business. They've made a pretty big deal about it, constantly bringing it up and trying to bait people into asking so they can smile and say, "We know, but we're not telling." Annoying, but we avoid it. They recently picked a name. As you can guess, they don't want to tell anyone. Cool, their choice. But once again, they're baiting for people to ask questions. I'm also pregnant with my first. We're not finding out the gender until birth, though we have 2 names picked out and have told people if they ask. I had my baby shower last weekend. My sister was there. She baited a few people who didn't know her to ask what she was having. I ignored it. Then while opening gifts, I received 2 onesies. One had the name we picked for a girl, the other for a boy. My aunt explains I could hold on to the other one if we have a second, or donate it. Both are pretty common names. I thought it was so sweet. My sister said, "Oh, we've picked a name too." I already knew what would happen. A few asked what it was. She smirked and said, "We're not telling." I rolled my eyes and said, "Yeah, we know. Have enough attention for now?" She turned red but didn't say anything else. We moved on. My mom later chastised me, saying I shouldn't have called her out like that. Apparently, my sister cried after. I pointed out she already had her shower where she could annoy people with all of that. She doesn't need to do it with mine. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. She sounds annoying as heck. She sounds like those people on Facebook who post about feeling down or needing inspiration or feeling hurt by betrayal and drama, and then people ask what it is, and they say, "I don't want to talk about it." By the way, you could always start throwing out ridiculous names. Craigathy, Jimmerfer, Savory, Brangelina. Don't you understand that your baby shower exists only for her to tell people that she's pregnant too and knows the gender and has even picked out a name for her baby as well? And that it's all so awesome, unlike yours, that she won't tell anybody. Oh man, your baby will always be in competition with her baby. And if your sister's the golden child, you and your child will never win. We have a funeral to attend, and I, female 45, asked my daughter, 19, what she'll wear. She showed me her outfit, black tights with black flats, a black sweater, and a black dress. The dress was fine at first glance. It was up to her neck and knee length. However, it's backless, not fully. Kind of from the bra line to her waist, there's a gap where I see skin showing. I told her not to wear it as it was inappropriate. She said it was fine, and that's why she had the black sweater, as it was going to be cold, and she wouldn't remove it even if she were warm. Sure, you could never tell with the sweater in, but I told her it was inappropriate, and she'll embarrass me. She said tough luck, and that's what she's wearing. I said she was not, and she was not allowed to go. She can't currently drive because she's got a twisted ankle. Thus, I'm picking her up and driving her, and she has no one else to do it. I told her I would not drive her half naked to a funeral, and she told me I was mean and didn't answer my phone. I told my sisters about this, and one agreed with me, and the other, the one who plays the cool aunt, agreed with my kid and told me I was the idiot. Was I really the idiot? At this point, I'm not sure anymore. Technically, she'll be covered, but it's still inappropriate. Am I the idiot? Lady, I come from one of the most conservative cultures in America. Dress plus sweater is a standard method women use around here to make their dresses modest. Nobody, and I mean nobody, worries about the dress is backless under the sweater. You are the idiot. How would she embarrass you with her back covered with a sweater? There's no issue here. Mom's too busy embarrassing herself in front of internet strangers. Geez, half naked? And OP should probably remember that somebody is dead, and this is a day of connection, mourning and peace, not a fashion show. Does OP think the corpse will rise up to bully her daughter's back? Ooh, what's under that sweater? Skin? One day you will be in this thread, asking why your daughter isn't calling you anymore. Oh wait, she already isn't talking to you. You need to apologize to your daughter and ask yourself why you're objectifying her and if you have some strange jealousy over her beauty and looks. My daughter graduated high school this year, and we plan to throw her a party. My husband's sister asked if we could do a joint party for my daughter and her daughter because they were both graduating high school, and my sister-in-law lives in a studio apartment and has no money. She doesn't have custody of her kids, so we accommodated the date she needed. We planned and picked the date 4 months in advance. She never told X about the date of the party, and then it turns out that my niece is going to be going to another country on the date of the party. We found this out 2 weeks before the party. Invitations had been mailed, people have responded, the caterer's booked, and things are in motion. Come to find out, my sister-in-law knew she was going on this trip, but couldn't remember the dates, and never bothered to check, or ask her ex, or tell her ex when the party was. She asked us to change the party date, and we said no, as everything had already been done, and many people had responded to coming for my daughter, and we also wouldn't have a free weekend again before she left for college. Sister-in-law said that she thought it would be easy to change it, but we stood our ground and said no. Then at the party, she called me aside and said we should have changed it, that no one showed up. We invited around 60 people, and 35 were able to make it, and all of my daughter's friends were there, and it would have been fine. I told her once again the reasoning why, and that it wasn't our fault she didn't double check on the dates. She became cranky and said I should have taken her needs more seriously and been more understanding. I said the only people whose needs matter here were my daughters. I refused to speak to her until I get an apology. Am I the idiot? Edit. My daughter and niece aren't very close. My daughter didn't want a joint party to begin with, but she did it to be nice. About 5 sister-in-law invited were joint family members, and 30 were people she had invited who we didn't know. Not the idiot. Hey, you're throwing a party. Can I piggyback on it to have my party with you? But you need to change your date for me. You did this, which was beyond necessary. Oh, I forgot that I can't make the date that I told you to change it to. I know it's all planned and people are coming, but can you cancel everything since the date I told you was wrong? It would make me feel bad if your party wasn't about my daughter. No. If she wanted to ensure she was celebrating her daughter while piggybacking on your organizational skills and your daughter's party, she should have checked her daughter's calendar better. 35 out of 60 guests showed up? Yeah, probably, because the other half of the invited guests were the other person's guest. And she invited 30 people you didn't know. Did she tell them her daughter wouldn't be there? Did she pay anything for it? She should take her daughter's needs more seriously. Guess we know why she doesn't have custody. Honestly, you are the idiot for agreeing to share your daughter's graduation party in the first place. My parents did this for a cousin of mine, who I hate, and it ruined graduation for me. None of the attention was on me, only him, and I had to deal with his holier-than-thou Bible-thumping nonsense on a day that was supposed to celebrate one of the biggest accomplishments of my life. I'm glad it worked out, but I hope you keep your daughter's feelings in mind in the future.